In our previous video on the cytokine network, we discussed the 6 families into which different cytokines are classified. As you can see here, the 6 families of the cytokine are shown here. We will not discuss their detail here, but if you wish to learn about the classified family of cytokines, along with the functions of the cytokines, watch our video on the cytokine network. Instead, in this section, we will get into the details of some of the functions or roles of these cytokines in the immune response. By the end of this section, you will be aware of how cytokines contribute to T-cell priming, the beginning of inflammation, the maturation of T-cell specialization, and finally the termination of the immune response by the end of this section. Starting with T-cell priming. T-cell priming or differentiation is an important process for our immune system, and T-cell differentiation requires several different cytokines. These several different cytokines guide the differentiation of T-cells to several platoons of T-cells. In fact, the fate of a naive T-cell is determined by cytokines. Let me elaborate on that. After the detection of pathogens in the body, the patrolling immune cells, such as the dendritic cells, get activated and interact with the naive T-cell. For this, the activated dendritic cell goes to the lymph nodes and secrete polarizing cytokines. Depending on the type of cytokines, the naive T-cell either differentiate into Th1 cell or Th2 cell. So, the determining factor here is the polarizing cytokine. The nature of the cytokine that will be secreted depends on the type of infection that has occurred. If the polarizing cytokine is interleukin-12, then the naive T-cell will differentiate into Th1 cell. On the other hand, if the polarizing cytokine is interleukin-4, the naive T-cell will differentiate into Th2 cell. Just as you saw the importance of cytokines in the T-cell differentiation, these cytokines also play a very important role in inflammatory responses. Cytokines such as IL-6 and IL-1 play a role in the innate immune system by causing inflammation. Chemokines also play their role in the cellular events that lead to inflammation. Cytokines are required to initiate acute inflammation and maintain chronic inflammatory responses. If you are facing difficulty in remembering specific functions of cytokines, here is a mnemonic that can help you. This mnemonic is used to memorize the functions of interleukins. Hot T-bone steak. You need to focus on the letters that are written in red. The first word is hot. Here it is for interleukin-1. You can remember it as fever makes you feel hot. Hot means fever, and IL-1 causes fever. Second is capital T, which is for interleukin-2, which stimulates the T cells. The third word is bone. It is designated to interleukin-3, which stimulates the bone marrow. It stimulates the granulocyte monocyte colony stimulating factor. Fourth on this list is the letter E. We will talk about interleukin-4. The IL-4 helps in class switching of a IgE antibody from IgG. It also stimulated B-cell growth. Last and fifth is the letter A, designated to interleukin-5. It is linked with an antibody known as IgA and activated eosinophil. Lastly, we will talk about the role of cytokines at the end of the immune response. Once a pathogen is cleared, the amount of danger signal received by the innate immune system falls, and levels of cytokines such as IL-1, type 1 I IFNs, and TNF tend to fall. In addition, less antigen is available for presentation, and T-cell stimulation will decline, which leads to lower levels of cytokine production and lower levels of cytokine receptor expression. As levels of IL-2 in particular fall, T cells produce less BCL2, and are prone to undergo apoptosis. These factors tend to wind down the immune response. Although the numbers of memory T cells are probably maintained by low-level constitutive IL-7 secretion, and neutrophil numbers are maintained by GCSF production, the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines is switched off in between infections. In the next and last section, we will talk about what happens when there is excess cytokine production, so stay tuned.
Explore our extensive library of over 1,800 video lectures to learn about a wide range of topics. Only on sqadia.com.